is the tribulation here? Is it going to happen before or after the tribulation?
We're going to see over this next 7 years that God's going to answer that question for everybody.
That people will be offended and will betray one another.
Those that are beheaded for their faith, those that have died for their faith will rise.
You believe that we're actually going to have a home right here where we are now, right here on Earth. Where do you think that's going to be on the globe? Like what area? If you haven't, go to davidhebner.tv, sign up right now.
You'll catch full interviews not only on L.A. Marzulli, but Russ Dizdar, Rob Skiba, and Irvin Baxter.
You'll find we have an original programming channel with special interview, talks about UFOs and Bible prophecy. It's the interviews I've done. You can catch the complete package there on davidhebner.tv. Number one, is the tribulation here? That's number one. Number two, is it going to happen before or after the tribulation?
So, no, I don't believe it entered into what people call the tribulation, but that I don't necessarily believe in like a tribulation. I believe more so in what different, like Jeremiah and Isaiah talks about, like Jacob's trouble, which is distress in Israel. But anyways, no, I believe we're going to go through a lot of stuff. Matthew 24, 30, give me a sec. It says, verse 29, it says, immediately after the trouble of those days. And then it goes into talking about how, the Son of Man will appear and all that. So no, I was saying earlier, like it's not, I don't see it consistent with the Father's character to just, beam us out of here. I see us wanting to be refined and wanting to shine.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of scripture. There's a lot of scripture that talks about iron sharpening iron and us being forged into better versions of ourselves. I don't think that the easy way is the right way.
What is rapture? Rapture is the soul being raptured from the body. We live our lives. We endure until the end of our lives, and we're raptured when we die. That's pre-trib, mid-trib. During tribulation, those that are beheaded for their faith, and also those that have died for their faith will rise and meet him in the air. So there's pre, mid, and post. Simple explanation. Right?
Okay, James. You said, okay, it's both pre, mid, and post, depending on where you are. Yes, you're the first person that's laid it out that way. Thank you, brother.
I think a lot of people are going to fall away because they expect to be taken out before anything bad happens. And they're going to get so stunned when that doesn't happen. I'm all for being proven wrong with this. So this is one thing I really want to be proven wrong about, and I don't care. When I'm up in the air with Yeshua, I don't care.
Right. But Julianne, it does make a difference, though, someone's approach to it, because I find that when people think they're going to be taken up before any problems start, I find them to be very, very lackadaisical.
Exactly.
They don't want to work,
They don't. And what's happening in other countries? I mean, look at what's going on in China. If they find you with a Bible, if they find you even thinking about having a Bible, and in Russia, and over in Saudi Arabia.
Right.
So when's their tribulation?
Yeah, they're in the tribulation, aren't they, Julie? You guys are in the tribulation in Australia.
I was taught pre-trib, and it didn't matter to me until somebody said there was 3 schools of thought. And I was like, what? I went home and I prayed about it. I got into the Word, and God showed me in the Word there was no such thing as pre-trib. And anyways, I get attacked a lot when people ask me about it. I don't go and tell them. I'm not about debating it or nothing. I just tell them that I don't believe in pre-trib, that I believe in post-trib. But when I start sharing it, they attack me, and then they alienate me from wherever, I was going to their praise and pray thing for, right? They don't want to know anything about it. They get really scared. But my whole point is that in Matthew 24 clearly says in this whole chapter exactly what God says. about when he's coming back. He says, do not be deceived, because all these things are going to happen before I come.
Right.
And then it clearly says over here that people will be offended and will betray one another and will hate one another because of it. Because
Ooh.
there's going to be an offense that people will think they're going to be taken before the tribulation. And when they find out that's not the case, that's going to be the falling away.
But Jesus said, I will come after the tribulation. So that's what he said. So I believe that's when he's coming, because that's when he said he was coming. But also in Revelation, and I used to believe in the pre-trib because that's what I was taught. But when I start reading the scripture for myself, it just seemed to be more clear. But even in Revelation, in the 7th chapter, it says, as when God brings his wrath down, he says, but seal the servants of God on their foreheads. In other words, so that we will be protected if we're still here, you know, that we will receive God's seal on our forehead.
Well, I believe it. I think what it does is we're going to see over this next 7 years that God's going to answer that question for everybody, and they can figure out pre-trib, mid-trib, or post-trib.
Oh.
But the point that I'm trying to say is God's getting ready to wrap this thing up and go to a millennial time, a time of 1,000 years where Satan is bound and cast, okay, where he cannot come in and do that. That's what Revelation says, okay. That's what Isaiah says.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So
Okay.
we're approaching this time.
Yeah. Okay, Craig, thank you. Brent, Craig talked about 1,000 years. How does this fit? Does this fit into the new heaven right here on earth? Does it segue into that?
Yeah. So what I would see the scripture saying is that we're restored back to his back to his land. It talks about it in Genesis 12 through 15, the borders of the kingdom out of Israel there, and that's where the commencement of the 1,000-year reign of Yeshua would take place. And Revelation 5 will rule and reign with him, and so forth. And he talks about, like, the Father has a 7,000-year plan. You know, the Father speaks through numbers, right? So that would be like the 7th year. And then the 8th day, when we look at Sukkot, the 8th day is just kind of a new day. In the same way, I would say that that 8,000th year is what would be like where the renewed heavens and renewed earth comes in. And we don't know what the Father's going to do at that time. It could be really creative, but I guess my focus is through that 1,000-year reign, you know, staying faithful to him. So that ties into the new. So really, you believe, and I know the teaching, that we're actually going to have a home right here where we are now, right here on Earth. Where do you think that's going to be on the globe? Like what area? I hope you're not going to tell me someplace like Atlanta, Georgia, or New York City. But no, go ahead.
Not Atlanta.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Not Atlanta. It's an inside joke. I've been there, done that. Don't want to do it anymore. Where do you think it's going to be on the planet? Like what part of the world?
So if you go to Genesis, oh man, I think it's 15. I'm trying to find it right now. But anyways, the Father, it's really amazing. The whole word just ties together. But pretty much the Father promises borders to Abraham and to his offspring forever.
Jerusalem. Okay.
Yeah, it comes out of Jerusalem. The way that Israel is set up right now, it's smaller than what the biblical borders are. So I want to make a distinction. We're not talking about Jewish here. This is not Judaism. This is not anything like that. This is the word. This is the kingdom. So he outlines this perimeter, this property line, and Galatians says that, you know, we're the seed of Abraham, and Romans talks about that by faith. So therefore, if we're grafted into Israel by the blood of Yeshua, by faith, obedient to his instructions, obedient to his Torah, then we're considered Israel, and we have land there. So I got a deed somewhere in that land.
Wait a minute. We have a deed in Israel somewhere, in the physical land of Israel, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. Oh,
yeah, but
awesome. Okay.
It's bigger than what the current borders are.
Yeah, it's not the Israel that we know.
Going back to the Roman calendar, what calendar are we supposed to be following? Should we be following?
Good question. Brent, what calendar should we follow?
The moon.
Huh?
I'll tell you next Tuesday.
No,
Okay.
the moon. That's
Okay.
what I know. It sounds crazy, but we're on the lunar calendar, which is the sun, and that's not what the Father ordained. The Father ordained from the beginning for us to follow the cycle of the moon. So every new moon, we're supposed to follow that. And I use TorahCalendar.com. That's what I've used to follow the feast and stuff. So
yeah, thank you, Brent. Listen, we have the new End Times DVD. I investigates End Times investigation. I have a lot of my friends on here: Lisa Haven, Michael Lake. I have Josh Peck, L.A. Marzulli, Stephen Bancroft. I mean, 8 hours of me investigating things like Satanism, demonic powers, Illuminati, New World Order, Antichrist, one world religion, end times miracles, Bible prophecy. Folks, let me tell you something. One day, what you're watching us on right now, it's called television, it's called social media, it's called the internet. They're going to turn that baby off. You need a hard asset. When all this stuff gets shut off, this is what you're going to be able to learn from and to understand. So I want you to text the word chosen to 91999 or go to davidheavener.tv/order or call 844-806-0006. The brand new DVD of Last Evangelist. You can get it right now. It's limited collector's edition. It's got the new episode on it, along with band videos with me and Michael Lake and Lisa Haven, Sheila Lazinski. Everybody, I am honored and blessed not to have just one new book out, but 2 new books. That's right, 2 new books. The first one is End Times Investigation. I deal with Hollywood mind control. I deal with demon portals, the alien-demon connection, astral projection, program multiples, satanic ritual abuse, and much, much more. The things that I talk about in Last Evangelist and on my shows, all my interviews I do, it's right here in this book, especially my life story. Also, True Power, how to access your true power in these last days, okay? It's a war manual for God's children. We need to learn the enemy's tactics and how to battle the enemy in these last days. Pick up a copy of this book. Just text the word chosen to 91999, or you can go to davidheavener.tv/order, or you can simply call 844-806-0006. Hey everybody, this is David Heavener, and I'm proud to announce the release of my brand new TV series, The Last Evangelist, exclusively on davidheavener.tv.
We've apprehended a total of 13 for cooperating.
The other weapons?
Just a Bible.
Sure, it's okay to do whatever they say.
Providing support material to terrorists.
We were just handing out Bible.
This is an illegal translation. You're going to be going away for a very long time.
Subscribe now. Go to davidheavener.tv.